Hey, what's up, everyone? I know recently I've been doing more fun loving videos, more just some fun videos, but I just wanted to talk about some recent symptoms that I've went through, that I've personally gone through. This was on Monday the 9th, April 9th of this week. I believe that was the 9th. All I had to do was count back, but yeah, it was the 9th. And I went through these strange symptoms on that day. Well, actually, I used to go through these symptoms quite a bit. The darkness, depression, anxiety, and this is what happened. That day, when we were in town, I started feeling bad. I started feeling sick, and I got really dizzy. My face turned really red, and I used to get this blushed face, this blotchy red face, quite often. It would happen every day. Back when I was in school, it happened all the time. I barely could make it through school. I missed so much, and I was always sick, and I went through things that I just knew there was no way I could handle a job or anything. I didn't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I still don't know what I'll do in life, but I mean I've gone through a lot that I've written down, things that I've gone through. I didn't know how I was going to make it through that, honestly. And I'm so glad that I've had family, and all I had was faith and family, and that's all. That's just the faith that things would hopefully get better someday, that at some point in existence that things would get better. But I used to go through those symptoms quite often. I couldn't stand to even hardly be in the passenger side of a vehicle. It felt like everything was moving at me, and I was going to black out. And I would be like, and I'd stop breathing. I would stop breathing like an anxiety attack would go over my entire body, and I couldn't breathe. That's the way I used to get quite often. And I couldn't even stand being in the passenger side much. I would just, if I'm in the drive, I mean, if I'm even practice, I mean, if I would even, when I was younger, even practice in the driver's side, I would be, my mind would just, it was almost like I would black out. And there's no way that, there's no way that I could stand that. I don't know what caused those symptoms, but that's when I met that individual, this person. He just walked up on me out of nowhere that I call the cosmic being. That in a previous video of mine, he spoke to me and said that it was all part of the New Age, the awakening, and moving to the New Age. But yeah, that I went through all those symptoms. A few days ago, I went through more strange symptoms, and it started back, and I thought, oh no. I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't gone through this in years. I would go through the irritable bowel symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome, which I've gone through quite often. I have to take medicine for that when it acts up. And there's this dicyclomine that I have to take for that. But the symptoms that I went through that day, were the ones that I used to go through quite often. And we were in Walmart, and I had to go to the restroom. I just had to run to the restroom, and my face was red. I was dizzy. I couldn't stand to be around people, and I got super, super anxious, and I felt like I was going to black out. I felt like I was just literally going to just black out. And I was in the restroom, and I was just leaning on the side over there, just leaning to the side. And I was thinking, please, please, don't let me get these symptoms that I used to get, that I used to feel so often. Because I have become more open with people, and I've at least a lot more, quite more than I used to be. Able to talk to people. And the way I was then, I could never even think of having this channel or being on YouTube and discussing things with others. I could never imagine that. But I greatly apologize for not muting the notifications. But I could have never imagined doing this channel at that time. But I got dark, I got depressed, I was achy, my body was just itchy, I was just achy and just hot and sweating, but my face was burning red, and I went through all that, the irritable bowel symptoms, it was just that same everything that I went through then. And I was saying, oh my goodness, I never wanted to go through that ever again. I was like, I can't go through that again, please. And I hope I never do. But I thought maybe I'm just experiencing a shift. Maybe something's happening. Maybe it will go away soon. And I've got slightly better later. And I haven't experienced it to that extent since then. So, I know I've always been where when I go outside, I feel like dizzy, my face stings, my body stings in the sunlight, I feel like I'm going to black out. I get these rashes and blotches in the sun, almost like allergic reactions. I know my granny got that. She had to wear a hat a lot of times out in the sun because she would get these reactions and allergies to the sun, basically. A lot of things happen, but I've gone through many things. This is just some of it. I'll probably share more in a future video, but I try to send out so much love through these videos so that I know that I'm at least that I'm shedding truth and bringing truth and light to others, that I'm bringing happiness to someone's day, that I'm bringing light to someone else while I'm in this world. And it's so much to go through that darkness, that depression, that anxiety, those pains, those illnesses, and thankfully for God and my parents, we all have ups and downs in our faith and ups and downs in what we feel, but I do thank you for everything. But that's what I went through a few days ago. Let me know if you went through anything strange on that day. I do go through a lot with those types of things. But knowing that hopefully that I see so many individuals that send so much love to me, and the kindness makes this channel and everything worth it. I know that I hopefully at least brought some peace and love to someone's day, and I greatly appreciate it. And hopefully will continue to as well. I just hope that I don't go through, I was saying that I can't go through that again, what I went through in school. I still don't know how I'll be able to handle things like that. I'll finish for another video. It's kind of emotional talking about this, but I just wanted to share it with you all because a few people emailed me, a few individuals emailed me privately, and some others asked in the comments section to previous videos for me to share some of the symptoms that I experienced, and they asked me to share what I went through on that day, Monday, April 9th. So, I'm trying to stay without getting too emotional, trying to share what I have gone through, and I went through that day as well. So, just know that I love you all. I send love to everyone, and I'm very thankful for everything. Not only for this channel, just everything in general. I thank you all so much. I think the video stopped for a moment. I don't know what happened. Everything went silent. But everything kind of just, the screen froze. My devices do that. But I'm having to use the tablet right now to make videos still. Got a lot of work to do with my phone. But yeah, I thank God for my parents. So I thank God for my family, and thank God for you all. I thanks so much for. I'm thankful for you all is what I'm trying to say, and for everything. And hopefully we'll speak again very soon. And it means so much. I'm just sharing some of my personal experiences. I'll share more in a future video because I don't want to get too emotional or get too deep into my own personal experiences. So, sorry, I wasn't trying to be too sad, sob, or woe is me type of situation, but I just had to share some things that I personally go through and that I did go through. I didn't share even a percentage of what I went through when I was in school. Um, the thinking back on those times, really, the anxiety, the everything that I went through, the anxiety, the darkness, depression, the emotions, everything that I went through, this emotional roller coaster, it really brings back a lot of. I went through a lot, and no one understood. The school didn't understand. The system didn't understand. No one understood. My mama knew what I was going through. She's seen what I was going through, but I mean, my parents obviously can see what I went through, but no one else. Anyway, I was asked in an email, and a few emails, and a few comments to share some of my personal symptoms, those strange symptoms I spoke of a few days ago on Monday, and so I decided to do that for this video, but not only share the symptoms from Monday, but also my personal journey, some of the symptoms that I've gone through in my life. That's just a percentage. That's not even, excuse me, that's not even that's not even a small percentage of them. But anyway, I thank you all so much for everything. It is, it's kind of overwhelming sharing some of my own personal experiences and journey on here, but I decided to do that since several people asked me to do that. And not only what I went through Monday, but some of the strange symptoms that I go through throughout my life. So, many times people have well, I'll share that in another video, but I would go through so many symptoms in school. People were like, "What, are you dying?" And all kinds of stuff. They would just say that every day, and I would look like I was out of it or high, and I'm like, "No, I feel way too bad." I'm like, I just feel, I'm like, I guarantee you anything, I would feel better than I do now. That's what I said at school, because I went through all. I just looked out of it. I was just so sick and felt so bad. I was just totally out of it, and I hope I'm not going on too long and just kind of and uh, going on way too long sharing my personal symptoms, but I went through a lot. I went through a lot in school, and whenever I got an illness, I almost never got over it, and everyone was like, "Dude, like, dang, what's happening? Are you, what are you dying every day?" I got that question because I one time, like 6 months straight, I had this illness that I coughed, and we went to the doctor. We went and they couldn't find anything. They never could find anything wrong with me. I was always sick, and then teachers and the system would always say, "You don't need to miss that much. You can't miss that much school. No one misses that much. No one's that sick." I went through this one situation where this one teacher said that no one gets that sick, and then they wound up getting as sick as they wound up having the same issue as I did. So I guess kind of balanced out there. But anyway, I just hate it when people don't understand. Like teachers, the system, the government, the state ahead, they just didn't understand what I was going through. I actually had to go through several situations. I'd missed so much school that I actually had to go through an entire situation where they made a big deal out of it and everything. And one year I went to the hospital 3 times, and let's see, no, one time I actually went to the hospital, and they just put fluids in me and an IV, and they never found out what was wrong with me. I missed exams. I missed several exams several times in a row. I think I missed 3 exams in a row, but they let it be excused because I was in the hospital. They never found out what was wrong. They always couldn't find any conclusion, no matter how bad I was. One time I stayed in there 3 days in a row, and I wound up missing the exams. One person, my Spanish teacher, which was even worse than the others, she didn't do what they said and put it in as just incomplete. She just put it in there as a 70, which she wasn't supposed to do. But anyway, many of them did comply with that. But when I was in middle school, the teachers did not understand, and no one understood. When I was in middle school, I actually had to go through, I had missed so many days that I actually had gone to court and went through a whole situation. Then they found out that that was a big mistake, that I really was, this one woman, of course, that was her job, but she was trying to cause so much trouble. She was trying to cause so many problems, and say all these things against me, and it was put down as unruly, which was totally insane. And the judge, he found out, he was like, this is a big mistake, and they just let it go. And I missed so many days because I was so sick, and school made me have so much anxiety and depression, and I got anxious, and it hurt. I couldn't. I went through a lot. But that's not just the symptoms of. This was supposed to be just the symptoms of what I went through in Monday, but I wound up rambling on about what I went through throughout my life. But they wound up having someone one day, he would talk to me or something, and then all of a sudden they found out that this was a big mistake, that they were very sorry, that that should have never happened. And I was legitimately sick all the time. I had an appendix surgery when I was little, and then when I was in 4th grade, and then I wound up having tonsils and adenoid surgery, and I went through that all my life. They finally did something about it when I was in 8th grade. At the end of my 8th grade year, found out, oh, he's legitimately sick. And I thought, no doubt. And then, in high school, I went through all of these illnesses, and no one ever found out what it was. I felt like it was gallbladder, because my family has a history of that on both sides. And I thought that's what it was. And I thought for sure that's... And sure enough, we went through everything. Went to specialist after specialist after specialist after specialist. And it seemed like it never ended. And after going to all of these specialists, they still found that everything was inconclusive. And then they sent me to a surgeon. And then he said, that was back in, I think it was 2013. They sent me to a surgeon. And he said that basically, he stated, what are you doing here? I mean, why send me to a surgeon if he's just going to state, what are you doing here? And anyway, I thought I was actually going to get some help at that point, but I didn't. But I'd actually missed several exams in a row. I was in the hospital. They put fluids in me and did all this stuff, but they wound up, you'd think, oh my goodness, they're actually going to find something. They found what was wrong. And then they'd say, what, do you want me to be sick? Like, what, aren't you glad there's nothing wrong? I'm like, no, there's something wrong or I wouldn't feel this way. They gave the runaround. They just didn't want to. And at the end, they were going to finally do something, and then the insurance wouldn't pay for it, so they just kind of dropped it and said, oh, there's nothing wrong. So that was crazy. I went through some crazy things, but my parents seen it. They know, but the system, the government, school system, teachers, they didn't get it. They didn't see it. Only a couple of them ever understood. And I just realized that I've been going on for about 20 minutes, so I apologize for that if it's too long. I just needed to vent. I guess some people would say vent. I don't know if that's the right term or not. But needed to, I don't know, just share, just talk, give my personal experiences. So if it went on too long, I do apologize for that. This is just some personal things that I've gone through, that I went through throughout my life, and it started again really bad Monday, and I hope it doesn't come back, because I cannot stand that. I cannot take that, and I hope and pray that we all just get well and that I feel better. So I hope my anxiety goes away altogether. Obviously, it's better than it was, or I would not even be sharing on here at all. But anyway, I send much love. Thank you all for everything. I am thankful for this channel, and I'm thankful for you all. A few individuals were asking me to share some of the symptoms that I went through, and this is that video. So I meant to share what I went through Monday, mostly for this video, but I wound up going on longer than I thought and sharing almost like my life story. But anyway, I send much love. I thank you all for everything, and peace. I hope to speak with you all again very soon. Thanks for everything. Bye.